Most Pokemon cards show you a Pokemon, a battle pose, an attack mid-swing, or a Pokemon waiting for its close-up. And then there are cards that show you the room it lives in, the toys on the floor, the wet spider web at midnight, the little life that happens when no trainer is around. Cards you don't just look at, you read. And once you start reading them, the same name keeps showing up in the corner. Tika Matsuno. Tika Matsuno, Matsuno Chika in Japan, is one of the newest names in Pokemon card art. Her first card came out in 2020. Some artists in the series were painting cards before she ever touched a Pokemon assignment. And in that short window, she's drawn over 50 cards, designed in-game costumes, illustrated for mobile games, and quietly taken over half the merch wall at the Pokemon Center. And honestly, I didn't understand how one person gets handed that much that fast. Until I found out what she did before Pokemon. She made manga. Matsuno didn't come up through video game concept art, or through the card scene at all. She was a working manga artist and illustrator. In Japan, she drew an instructional tennis manga. One of those gakken books that teaches kids a sport through comic panels. And her first Pokemon job wasn't a card at all. Her first card came in Darkness Ablaze, 2020. This Delcatty. Look at where we are. A bedroom vanity, perfume bottles, a hand mirror, a pearl necklace hanging off the table. Delcatty on a pink cushion, mid-wink, grooming its paw like it pays the rent. The Pokédex says Delcatty is prized for its fur, and that it never keeps a nest. It just settles in wherever it's comfortable. She didn't write that in caption. Instead, she painted it. One card in, and you already know how this artist thinks. Then, July of 2021, Eevee Heroes. Her first ever special art card, Vaporeon V. A stone ledge by the water, at night, Vaporeon sitting alone under the moon, glancing back at you. No attack, no battle, barely any motion at all. Just a calm night, and a Pokemon that seems glad you showed up. Eevee Heroes was stacked with all 9 evolutions, and this quiet little night scene became one of the defining cards of this set in my opinion. English players never even got it in a regular expansion. It arrived months later as a promo in the Vaporeon VMAX Premium Collection. But here's the detail I can't stop thinking about. The day the card was revealed, Matsuno posted about it. And in the middle of the post, she wrote, and I quote, "The moon is beautiful tonight. If you know, you know. But if you don't, then let me explain. In Japan, the moon is beautiful is an old, famously indirect way of saying I love you. The story goes back to the novelist Natsume Soseki, who supposedly said a Japanese person would never say I love you out loud. They'd say the moon is beautiful, and the other person would just understand. So under a painting of Vaporeon sitting in the moonlight, she slipped in a 100-year-old love letter, meant for the card, or for the fans who had been asking for her art. She never said. That might be the most manga artist move I've ever seen on any card reveal. So let's talk about the style itself. People call it storybook, and that's fair. Soft textures, pastel palettes, lighting that feels like a picture book you had as a kid. But the real signature is what she refuses to do. Almost nobody in her catalog is fighting. Where most card art leans into battle, hers leans into the in-between moments. Eating, playing, sulking, falling asleep. And even when a card should be scary, she plays it honest. Her Ariados art from the set Silver Tempest hangs in a dew-covered web at night. The flavor text says it all. It leaves its web after dark to go hunting. That's the exact moment she painted, the night shift. And in 151, she got the entire Caterpie line. 3 cards, one little life, told in sequence like manga panels. Small Pokemon, the ones most artists treat as filler, get full scenes and full personalities from her. That's the through line. If you're into learning who's actually behind this card art, the like and subscribe buttons are right there. Every episode covers a different illustrator, and the list of names worth covering is very, very long. So, if you could do me a favor, take a quick moment to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you so much for watching, and now we'll continue with the video. Okay, Tinkaton. If Matsuno has a signature Pokemon, it's Tinkaton. When Paldea evolved, needed the Tinkatink line, all 3 stages went to her. And then there's the special illustration rare. A tiny pink Pokemon grinning ear to ear, hauling a hammer bigger than its whole body like it's the best day of its life. Something enormous and glittering looming over the scene. It's loud where the rest of her work is quiet, and it still reads instantly. One look at that grin and you're smiling too. The community adopted that card on site, and the company went further. Official shiny Tinkaton sleeves, deck cases, dividers, all her art. Her card turned into a merch line. The Pokemon became hers. But the card I want to sit with is a Ghastly from Lost Origin in 2022. A ghost type in a child's bedroom, surrounded by toys, and it's happy. Think about every other Ghastly you've seen. Graveyards, Fog, Menace. This one is playing, and the card never explains itself. Is the child Ghastly's trainer? Or does this family just have a Ghastly that sneaks into the playroom? You fill that part in yourself. She hands you the first panel, and your head draws the rest. That's a comic artist working in a single frame. And at some point, the Pokemon Company stopped treating her like just a card illustrator. In Pokemon Unite, she designs HoloWear, the costumes Pokemon wear into battle. Over 40 of them confirmed so far. A Kabuki Blastoise, a Tuxedo Cinderace, a Dark Magician Dragapult, and a Mimikyu on a concert stage. In Pokemon Masters EX, she shows up as a guest artist, drawing event art and splash illustrations, including the Signasuit art for the Subway Twins, Ingo and Emmett. When Pokemon TCG Pocket launched, she drew the Blue and Blastoise playmat and collection board, and later another board with Adamant and Irida. And the merch line just keeps going. Iono, Acerola, Faulkner, Leon. If you've bought official trainer sleeves in the past few years, you've probably owned her art without knowing it. She's even drawn Pokemon Center collab art with the Hiroshima Toyocarp, an actual baseball team. Plus 2 sets of Pokemon stickers for Line, Japan's biggest messaging app, and when Pokemon crossed over with Hatsune Miku for Project Voltage, 18 artists each got 1 Miku, and Matsuno drew the Blueberry Academy design. Between cards, games, manga, merch, a baseball team, 6 years. A few loose ends worth knowing. Nobody outside the company knows her face. She works behind a small illustrated icon like a lot of TCG artists do. Her Twitter reads like a work diary. She posts every card, costume, and sleeve the day it goes public, which is how fans piece this whole list together in the first place. For the Pokemon Center's My 151 campaign, she drew one of the prize artworks, a Slowpoke. And my favorite habit of hers, she paints the Pokedex entry. Delcatty that never keeps a nest, Ariados that hunts at night. Read the flavor text, then look at her art. The story is usually sitting right there. And that's what I want you to take from this one. Tika Matsuno is a recent artist, but the Pokemon Company has already trusted her with massive projects over and over again. That trust, that fast, tells you everything. So the next time a card makes you stop, not because it's shiny, but because it feels like a scene from a story, check the corner. There's a decent chance it says Tika Matsuno. Drop your favorite Matsuno card in the comments. I read all of them, trust me. And I will see you in the next episode, where we meet yet another Illustrator. Thank you so much, guys, for taking your time. I appreciate you guys for watching each and one of these episodes. I promise we will be coming out with more very, very soon. Thank you for your patience. It does take a while for the research, finding assets, and all of that. I appreciate all your love and support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.